Black women were always supposed to be seen but not observed. And that's where their jealousy comes down to, because when it comes right down to it, their men are men. And this is why I brought up how like desirability and pretty privilege like plays a role in the way like black women navigate workspaces, and why we like I said it's easier with their men because men are fucking easy. Be fuckable. You're good. You're good. That's always been the case. And I know that we hate to keep bringing everything back to slavery, but even before slavery, the way that these men actually viewed and observed black women were as very sexual, desirable creatures. Some of the first writings about black women were about how voluptuous and robust our bodies were. And then all of a sudden, what happened? White women are wearing bustles. They're wearing all this unnecessary padding in the front and the back to mimic our body shapes. And what happens today? They copy our aesthetics. They copy our speech patterns and our mannerisms. They copy our styles. They copy our hairstyles. They copy our makeup. Like, when their men started bringing us into the house saying, oh no, baby, this is a tool. This is an appliance to make your life easier. Don't worry about it. And they thought, oh yeah, I have nothing to worry about. My man said that I was the most desirable thing in the world, in the universe. That's why I'm sitting in this gilded cage, not able to do anything with no options, because my man said I shouldn't worry my pretty little head about choices. My man said that I was the pinnacle of femininity and beauty. I have nothing to worry about from this utilitarian object that he brought into our house to make my life easier. And that's how we were always supposed to be seen. We were supposed to be seen as appliances. What are appliances? They're tools to make your life easier. They're not particularly pretty. They're not particularly ornamental. You take them out of the closet and you use them as needed, and then you put them back. They weren't supposed to think anything of us. But it's hard to think of the person that your man brought into the house as a tool when all of a sudden she pops up with a pregnant belly and there's no men in the house except for yours. When all of a sudden you're seeing light-skinned, loose-haired, green-eyed children, but there's no one in the house except for dark-skinned, dark-eyed people. Which we all know that two fully black, darker skinned people can make a light skinned, green eyed baby, but God forbid white people actually dedicated themselves to truly studying how genes work back in those days. So, as far as they knew, it couldn't be done. So, all of a sudden, you're forced to reckon with the fact that, oh, this is not just a utilitarian tool. This is a person, this is a human being, a flesh and blood woman that I have to compete with in what is supposed to be my domain. This is supposed to be the only place that I have some dominion over, the only place in which I have some control and power. And it's not even a safe space for me, because God knows where my husband is screwing this woman in our house. Is he screwing her in our marital bed when I'm away visiting family? Where is he? All of a sudden, we're not just seen but not observed. They have no choice but to really take a second look at us and examine us. And when they are forced to do that, then they see, oh, she is desirable. She is beautiful. She is this, that, and the third. All the things that I was told she's not supposed to be, and she's my competition. And this directly ties into how they view us when we come into the workplace with our makeup done and our hair flawless and our outfits on point. Because who are we doing that for? What are we doing that for? We're not supposed to be as pretty as them. Why are we coming in here looking better? Looking just as good? This cultural and historical distrust of us has never been addressed. And that's why we keep having these issues of competition. One of the few facets of power that white women have is their youth and their beauty. And when they're reminded that you too have that youth and that beauty, and then oftentimes it's backed up by competency, they get really, really angry. And they're uncomfortable with that anger because, and that jealousy, because how dare you make them think about their place in the world? And to your point about like how black women stand out, we do. And I've talked about this in my redhead video. White tea culture, if you can say that they even have one, white supremacy is predicated on homogeneity, everybody looking alike, everybody looking the same, not standing out too much because it's a cult. Whereas blackness is more celebratory of differences and uniqueness. And black women are beautiful in ways that are very diverse and very different from whitey women. Doesn't mean white women aren't beautiful, they are. But we're different. And the difference makes us not only beautiful in this very unique way, but it makes us threatening as well. Like our beauty is threatening because it's something that really cannot be emulated. And that's okay. That's okay. Honestly, it's truly okay. There's beauty in every single group of women that just cannot point blank be emulated. It can't. But because they are taught to conquer and not to cultivate, they don't understand that our unique beauty in the way that we choose to show up is not a threat. It's just a form of personal expression. And that same unique beauty that makes us the object of their scorn and their jealousy makes us an object of lust and desire by their men. And that's always been the case. And we've leveraged that to our advantage all the way from the past. When we would have kids with these whitey men that were raping us, we would leverage that little bit of power that we did have to be like, hey, like maybe we can negotiate freedom for our children when they get a certain age. Maybe we can negotiate some education for our kids so that when our kids get free or when our kids grow up, they can pull us along in their upward mobility. They can pull us along when they start to have a little bit more social status. Maybe we can negotiate for our own freedom. And that's what we would do. We would leverage the proximity, the forced proximity that we had to their men to our advantage. And oftentimes, black women would get gains. They would get freedom. They would get freedom for their children. They would get education for their children. Their kids would get inheritances. Their kids would be set up better for the future. Because if you're going to be forced into this situation, you might as well make the best of it. And that is something that we have been teaching the young black women in our families for generations. I know moms, aunties, sisters, older cousins, grandmothers, great grandmothers have told me to leverage my youth and beauty where I can. Fuck it. It's a tool. It's a tool. And that's what we do. That's why I said their men are easier to work because their men are predictable. They're predictable. Whitey women are not. The only thing they're predictable with is their disdain and distrust of us. And you never know exactly what insidious ways that shit is going to show up.